It's time for our monthly chat with Lill from CMHA. Lill, great to see you. How are you today?
Very well, thank you, Dave.
I want to throw something at you today and get your feedback on it because um, I had to do stuff online this week for my wife, and I was talking to an associate online, and I found it very frustrating. And I almost, before I even started the whole scenario, I was angry that I had to go online and do it. Not, and I don't want to use the word angry. I just was like, ah. And then I find that more in life that, when you want to do something, let's say you're like, oh, I'm going to go do this. And then all of a sudden you have to have four other steps involved to get to that one thing. I guess with age, I'm not as patient as I once was. Um, and in your realm, what you guys do at CMHA is amazing, but I'm sure that to get into that system and go through it. Like people must get frustrated too at the start. How do you guys deal with that? Like what can people do to sort of regulate themselves better?
Mhm. For sure, and this is a really important topic, Dave. Navigating the system, the mental health and addiction system, is not always easy for individuals that are struggling with mental health problems. So you already have that sense of frustration, okay, and also that sense of, like, is there something wrong with me? Are other people facing this? So sometimes by the time they get to you, they've been to four other doors or have had to admit that perhaps they need to seek some assistance. So we see sometimes anger come through, which is very much their frustration levels. So we sit them down and we talk to them, right? So we understand that this is not an easy process for you, but let's talk about let's talk about what you'd like to do, what we can help you with, what you're going through, and that's very much our intake process, right? It is sort of kind of like that, not a screening per se, but in a sense a screening, but just to kind of find out where the person's at and how we can help, and to also reassure them that there is help available. You're not alone, and so sorry that you've been to four other doors, but you're in the right place now, and we can help.
You think like with my little scenario online, it was like I needed information that I didn't know.
Right.
So I think in your case, a lot of times if there's something that I don't understand mental health wise, I want someone to give me the answer. And unfortunately, we always want the answer from the first person we talk to, don't we?
Yes, we do.
but but there's that step back when like I said to you earlier, when I was done with this person online today, I actually, I was ups- I was upset, but I put, okay, thank you for your time because I had to realize that this person was just trying to help me get to that next spot and they couldn't answer my questions, right? And I think that's kind of what you're saying too, is that people just need to stop, even though you might be in an emotional moment, take a deep breath and sort of refocus again.
Exactly. I mean, it's human nature to want everything done yesterday, right? Like, it's the
It's
solutions
today's
now.
society. Yeah.
Solutions now, right? But I think taking a step back and being patient, and especially when you're on the line with people that are really just doing their job, right? You really have to understand that perhaps they're following policy, perhaps they don't have the answers, right? So it is important to just take a step back, check your anger, and be patient, right? Sometimes that's easier said than done. I do understand that.
And you guys, the other part that I want to bring up is that you do have helplines that people can call.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that's critical. Like, I
It
think
is.
that's the first step because if you're, sitting alone in a dark room and you're having terrible thoughts, you need that outlet. You need to have somebody right there. And I think, we should talk about the positive too, because you guys do have the resources right there in play to help people.
Yes, I mean, there are crisis lines,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what they're for. For if you're going through a crisis and you need to speak to someone right now, they're there to listen. Like there was one call that I took from intake, and this person was screaming at me, and I just knew that. And finally, after she let go and everything, she said, "I'm so sorry. It's not you. It's not you. I have called four other places and no one could help me." She said, "You're the first person that has helped me." And, we have to understand where the people are coming from. You know what I mean? And I just, be patient, check your anger, and try to put yourself in their shoes and just see, either they're following policy, they're frustrated, they're not getting the information that they need, and they're really at their breaking point. So, yeah,
Yeah, and somewhere down the road too, we should probably talk about just the amount of folks you guys intake.
yeah, yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's bigger than we think, and, I think when those frontline workers that you have, boy, that's a lot on them too, right? Like,
sure
that's a
is.
lot
It sure is.
lot to deal with.
For the last fiscal year, 25-26, ending March 31st, we saw 1,300 people. That's a lot of
What?
that's a
Ye
lot of people needing help. A lot of
Oh my
people.
goodness.
Yeah,
And and that's honestly, that's probably the tip of the iceberg when
yeah,
you think
it is.
about it, right?
It
Like,
is. Those are people seeking help, and we know that only
yeah.
25% of people who need help seek it out, which is sad, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
You start putting those kind of numbers pen to paper, right? It makes a lot of sense. And I got to give them credit because, people that make the call, you know what I mean? That's the first step, right? It really is the first step in just sort of helping yourself figure out these problems that maybe you're dealing with or getting that assistance that will help you make that next step. And the process, like you said, it depends on the magnitude, doesn't it, of the
Mhm,
situation?
mhm, mhm. Exactly. Exactly. Always check your anger or try if you're the getting the brunt of someone's anger, take a step back and try to realize why they're so angry, right? And
Yeah.
if you're on the other side of the coin, if you're getting angry with someone,
Yeah.
take a step back as well and say, "Hey, you know, what
I
can I do
think too,
about the situation right now?"
one of the things that I've saw other folks do that I like to do too is journaling a little bit.
Mhm,
Just
mhm.
putting down my like when I'm like the today's situation, I'm writing notes constantly to
Good.
remind myself of these next things. And I think enough people too, if you're in a scenario where you can write it down and then maybe they're talking like I know in some cases you don't have that time, but at least if I'm going to talk to somebody at CMHA, I'm like, okay, here's what, here's bang, 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 what's
Yeah.
bugging me or what does this mean? Why am I doing this right now? Right.
Exactly, exactly. Journaling is an excellent way to address your anger because your thoughts and your feelings, you're putting them down
Yeah.
on paper. And that
Yeah.
exercise in itself can be very cathartic. It really can. Yeah.
It's I think I just wanna and I don't wanna toot your horn too much, but I do think people, like you said, that many folks come through and probably the array of mental health issues that would be included in that are
Mhm.
you get 1,300 different people,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Everything's so unique
Yeah.
that way. Kudos to you guys, man. That's incredible. I didn't realize that.
Thank you.
I keep up the good work. That's all I can say. But again, folks, if you don't understand, if you like Lil said, there's the helplines you can call. Well, we always have the suicide line at the end. But I mean, just take the time to maybe make that call. And if it is a couple steps, don't get upset. Sort of write those notes down as you go, so you can when you find that person that's going to assist you, then you're ready to roll.
Exactly.
Thanks for doing this, Lil. Always a great topic.
Thank you, Dave.